Hello, everyone. Uh, Happy 4th of July from the, you know, Tech Sports TV. Happy 4th of July from me, Trey. Happy 4th of July from my family. Happy 4th of July from everyone. Proud to be an American. Uh, I love, I do love being an American. I love this land. I love the fact that I was born here, a free man, in one of the greatest countries, the greatest country. Really, no true rival to America's greatness. There's nothing in the world that's like America. Yeah, because America is not founded on race, it's founded on an idea that all men are created equal. No, we didn't follow through with the idea all the time, but that was the foundation. All men are created equal, and we gotta live by that standard. We gotta live by the standard that we have the right to defend ourselves. We gotta live by the standard that we protect our freedoms, that we protect each other, that we will not let the government control us, not let people control us, that we can be free to live our own lives. The idea, that's what America was founded on. We didn't always live that way. We fought the bloodiest battle in American history to make it that way. We fought through multiple civil rights acts, multiple civil rights movements to get it that way. No, America's not unique in slavery. That's all over the world. All over the world. Western civilization is unique in abolishing slavery. There's still slavery going on today. No, it's not in America though. It's in the Middle East. It's in I believe some in India. It's in Africa. Africans enslaved each other. Slavery is just human nature. We are unique in ending it. And yeah, normally I would be talking about unifying under, you know, the idea of America. The problem is, not everyone wants to do that anymore. Not everyone agrees about the greatness of America. Some people look at America and think disrespecting flag is okay. Some people look at America and think, yeah, it's uh, America's founded on slavery, not on freedom. Some people look at America, the America's birthday, and call it racist. This is America's birthday that we're celebrating. Without this country, many of the people here would not be free. There's people who want to tear down the foundation of America. There's people who want to strip away our rights. There's people who there's people who hate the idea of a free land. They don't like. They want everyone to live their way. They want to control our lives. They don't like the idea of America. They don't like the flag of America. They don't like the foundation of America. They don't. They want to tear down. No, oh yeah, there's people tearing down George Washington statues, Lincoln statues, Lincoln, the person who abolished slavery. They're tearing down Union war generals, the people who fought against the Confederacy. This ain't just about we hate the racist history in America. This is about they hate the history of America in general, all of American history. How are we supposed to unify under the American flag with them? You can't. We've gotten to a point where there's just some people who we just can't go and unify and say, God bless America with. With those people, there's nothing we can really do. Can't fight against them. Can't use reason. The only thing we can do is stand our ground and not give up any ground. Not go, and say, God bless America. Say, I love being an American. Say, I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud of this land. I'm proud of my freedom. And we need to stand up for our freedom. We've been slowly losing freedom for years now, decades, for a very long time. At some point, we need to take a stand and say, no, the American value is freedom. The American value is independence. The American value is everyone's equal. Not we need to give them privileges because of their ancestors, because their ancestors had it bad, or we need to give them privileges because I need their votes. It's all men are created equal. Because the people who are tearing down America right now, trying to tear down everything it stands for, are not doing it in the idea of all men are created equal. Because that's not what they believe in, that's not what they want. If you want all men are created equal, it's time to stand up for America. Time to stand up against people who want to get rid of the police. Time to stand up against people who are justifying the burning of our cities. Time to get rid of the people who are justifying the horrendous actions that happen down in Seattle or up in Seattle. The horrendous actions. Okay? This isn't about Black Lives Matter. It's not. Whenever there's people going out and shooting black people in the name of Black Lives Matters, it ain't about Black Lives Matters. Okay? It's about destroying America's foundation. When there's people who are over there and acting terrible, who are actually committing brutality and calling themselves the police, beating people to death for non-acts of violence, and expecting no repercussions and getting no repercussions, when you compare it to a cop reacting to a violent black man, it ain't about that. If a cop reacts to a violent black man violently, he gets chastised by the public. But oh no, the Antifa, they react to a non-violent black man violently and beat him to death. Okay, that's okay. No, that ain't about Black Lives Matters at that point. And no, blacks aren't being hunted down by the police. Oh no, such a tragedy. No, wouldn't that be a good thing? Isn't that what you want? Black people to not be hunted down by police? The majority of black people don't have to worry about the police. In fact, if you look at per interaction, black people are less likely to be shot. Why? Because cops don't want to be perceived as racist. Well, the majority of cops. And whenever an incident does happen, it ain't always just because of racism, because it happens to every other race. The reason why a cop could do it to a white person is the same exact reason it can happen to a black person as well. Racism isn't the only indicator for everything that a black person faces. When the answer to everything that a black man faces is racism, you gotta rethink your worldview, because not everything is racist. Not every time an unarmed black man gets shot is because of racism. What about all the white people? That ain't because of racism. There's actual reasons. It could be a power trip. It could be the fact that a white person was charging or trying to punch the police and fighting with the police. Okay, there we go. Can't that be the same reasons for the black people as well? Why are those reasons just all of a sudden disqualified? Why? No, it's not even just unarmed. You can have an armed black person with a gun shooting at the police, and the police are still called racist for killing him. When I see stuff like that, I don't know how people don't see that. I don't see it. I don't know how people can look at a video of a black man shooting at the police and not see the gun in his hand as he's shooting at the police. I don't. And another thing, we need to be able to defend ourselves. And defending ourselves doesn't always mean we have to wait until we're shot in the head. Okay? If you have a reasonable fear of your life, you have the right to defend yourself. And yes, fear of your life. You don't have to wait till you're shot to defend yourself. If someone has a gun and pointing it at you, you have the right to defend yourself. If someone says they're going to beat you up and he's charging at you, yeah, you have the right to defend yourself. If someone's threatening your life and they have a weapon in their hand, yes, you have the right to defend yourself. You don't have to wait until they actually bonk you in the head. You don't have to wait until you actually get shot. You don't have to wait until they do make the first move. If you have reasonable fear of your life, you have the right to defend yourself. We're chastising two groups of people, not two groups, two people, a man and his wife, because they walked outside with a gun, because their lives were threatened, because these people broke into their private neighborhood, because these people were violent, a violent mob, and were mad at the people protecting their property. Yeah, no, they didn't get beat up. You know why? Because he had a gun in his hand. If he didn't have the gun in his hand, you know what would have happened? Same that happened to other people. Same people are getting pulled out their vehicles and beat to death. People are having their houses burnt down. People are having their businesses burnt down. People are being shot in the streets. Okay? And them you're telling them that the police shouldn't stop that. You're saying the police need to let this happen. You're saying the police does anything about it is because they're racist. You're saying the police can't do their job. Okay? So guess what? If you're saying the police can't do their job, people are going to have to defend themselves. Riots are not acceptable. Burning of buildings, not acceptable. That doesn't get anything positive done. No, the rioting and the burning did not get the Civil Rights Act passed. Civil Rights Act was already in motion. Already in motion way before the rioting. No, rioting and burning is not what freed the slaves. No, what freed the slaves was the fact that the people who had the slaves, the 9% of the population that owned slaves, got pissy because a man got elected. That's what freed the slaves, essentially, because President Lincoln, guess what? Initially, didn't want the tensions were really high at that point. So President Lincoln vowed to not free the slaves. But guess what? That still wasn't good enough. The people were pissy because Lincoln got elected, so they succeeded. That was the whole thing. They didn't like the fact that the Republican Lincoln got elected. That was the whole thing. They got pissy. And so, you know what? President Lincoln, wanted to keep the Union as a whole. And then after, what was it, like a year or two fighting in the war, he needed a rallying cry behind it. So that's when the Emancipation Proclamation happened. The slaves weren't freed because of rioting. It was a war. It was a war because the other side was being a bunch of children. The Democratic side were being a bunch of children. Rioting didn't create new stuff. Acts of terror didn't create new stuff. Threats didn't produce positive change. You know who was doing the threats, acts of terror, and all of that way back then whenever people wanted the positive change? It was the Ku Klux Klan. It was the KKK. It was the white supremacists. Those were the people really doing the acts of violence. And then you had some, yeah, Black Panthers. Black Panthers weren't super innocent either. But it wasn't the Black Panthers that got the positive change. It was Martin Luther King Jr. that got the positive change. It was MLK. It was Rosa Parks. It was Frederick Douglass. Those people led America, black people to be not just being free, but led to the Civil Rights Act, to where they were able to vote, to where they had all the rights that a white man had. It wasn't riots. It wasn't burning down cities. No, it wasn't, oh my gosh, I'm mad at the government. I'm gonna go burn the black neighborhood down. Really, burning down the black neighborhoods, burning down black businesses, killing black people in the streets, that ain't gonna give black people their rights. That ain't gonna fix their problems. It's not gonna make things better for black people. We need to stand up. Okay? What am I supposed to do as a white person to help black people? How about just treat them as an individual? Why should I treat them any different? Why do I have to put them on a higher pedestal and treat them different? Why do I have to go, people, there's another thing. Why should I have to kneel down and apologize for my ancestors' sins when I didn't do anything? No, I'm not going to kneel. If a black person does come to me and ask me to kneel in front of them, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to treat them any different. I'm going to treat them like a human. I'm going to treat them based on their personality. If they're a jerk to me, I'm going to be a jerk to them. If they treat me with respect, I'm going to treat them with respect. That's how it's going to be. You know how you end racism? Don't treat them like a black person. Don't treat them like a white person. Treat them like an individual, which is not what a lot of people are doing when they're burning down these cities, chanting Black Lives Matters. Because, the Marxist terrorist organization, with the leader being, a proclaimed Marxist, trained by her mentor who was a terrorist. Yeah, Antifa, the terrorist organization. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know what terrorism is? It's just acts of terror to push an agenda. Isn't that what Antifa's doing? Isn't that what BLM's doing? They're terrorists. Yeah, I'm sorry. They're terrorists, and we don't compromise with terrorists. So I'm not going to stand with tearing down a statue that freed black slaves paid for to depict President Lincoln when he freed the slaves. There, anytime I'm not. We need to stand up for freedom. We need to stand up for every man is equal. Not let's give them privilege because they had it bad in the past. Not let's burn down the cities because America is foundationally racist. Treat everyone as an individual. Treat every cop as a that's everyone. Every cop, every black person, every white person, every Hispanic person, Latino person, whatever. Every Asian person, everyone as an individual. Don't look at white person and the white person and go, he's racist. Don't look at someone and don't look at a cop and go, they're racist trying to kill us. No, especially when the majority of the cops aren't. This is a sad times we live in. This is a time when we have to stand up for America. Okay, we need to be able to stand up and say, "I'm proud to be an American. Proud to be an American. I'm proud to be an American. I'm going to defend America, and I'm going to defend the values of America, where every man is created equal."